Good to see you. So we've got some media folks here with us as well, about 20 or so. Was hoping maybe you could start us off with the opening statement, just some thoughts on how things are going, status of the defense.
Yeah, I'm very pleased. I mean, we are poised to really take the next step. The leadership is great. Everybody knows what they're doing, in the right places, and playing fast, and we're multiple. You know, our packages are developing to really take the most of the best advantage of the people that we have. And I think we're going to be able to put some great combinations on the field in terms of personnel at different times. Devin Harper is shining, you know. Calvin Bundage is back. Trace Ford. I mean, there's some guys that are some serious threats to have a great year with Trace and Calvin and Devin and Eamon and Malcolm. I mean, you know, Christian Holmes done a great job to transfer. Really, going to be a great corner situation with him and Rodarius and Jarek. So it's been full speed ahead. I mean, I think we got a real chance to be good.
Coach, thanks so much for that insight. Your first question is going to come from Scott Wright of the Oklahoman. Go ahead, Scott.
Hey, Coach, you mentioned Calvin. Obviously, he's coming back from a pretty significant injury. What have you seen from him? What stood out about him through these first?
Yeah, you know, I think it's like anything in life. If it gets taken away from you, you really appreciate it more. And Calvin just is more locked in than he's ever been. Just focused, you know. And you know, right away we can get him coming off the edge. You know, him on one side, Trace on the other. There's two serious threats. But he's just locked into everything he's doing. Seems to really appreciate football.
Thanks, Coach.
Your next question comes from Robert Allen of Triple Play Sports.
You're on mute. No, I don't know if you are. I'm just kidding, Robert. Can't hear you.
All right, we're going to maybe come back to you a little bit later, Robert. Let's move on to Jared Alatorre from the O'Colly. Go ahead, Jared.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, got you, Jared.
Coach, usually Big 12 teams aren't talked about with defense, but you're bringing back familiar faces. And Jarek Bernard moving to corner. What do you –
I lost you there. After you said Jarek Bernard, you went on mute. You're on mute now.
Sorry about that. Jared, that was my fault. Go ahead.
Go ahead. After you said Jarek Bernard, I lost the rest of it. What was that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, what do you think about your vision of the defense this year? Usually Big 12 defense isn't talked a lot about, but you're bringing a lot of guys back, a lot of familiar faces. What's your vision to what you see this year?
You know, I thought we had a great finish to last year and really helped the team win some games. And we have a shot to have everybody healthy. So I see veteran players who know what to do and who have a lot of speed. You know, I see more depth than ever. And a chance to really just be a well-rounded unit.
Sure. And the ESPN cameras have been following you around. What's been your reaction to that?
You know, like as you said, I'm on defense in the Big 12, so I don't get much time with the ESPN cameras. You know, we're more like the when you coach defense in the Big 12, you're like the mushroom society. They keep you in the dark, throw fertilizer on you, and hope you grow.
Thank you.
Our next question comes from Garen Emig of the Tulsa World. Go ahead, Garen.
Jim, good to see you again.
I can't see you, Garen, but good to see you.
it's just as well that you can't see me. I've let myself go the last 5 months.
I got in great shape.
I hope the family back home as well. How's everyone?
Going good.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, I got my son graduated from Michigan, civil engineering student with a magna cum laude. I spent a lot of money on that degree, and guess what? Didn't even get to go to a graduation. So I mean that's a bummer. But
sorry about that. No, along those lines, I just wanted to gauge your emotions through all this. I know that, Coach. I mean, we're all having to deal with this. We've been having to deal with this. So you guys are no different. I know that coaches preach tunnel vision and focus on the task at hand, but I know there have been days where I imagine this has been a grind on you as much as anyone.
Yeah, I mean that's what I joke with the players all the time. You must be. Coaches are people too, right? If you cut us, do we not bleed? So I appreciate the question because most people don't. They think we're robots, but surreal. I mean, you talk to anybody, just surreal. The whole off season and no recruiting. I mean, I've never worked less hours in my life. It's just been. And that's honest, and you're always thinking something on your head and jotting notes and stuff, but the physical hours of on the field in the spring and recruiting in the spring and camps in the summertime, all that's gone. So, I mean, ultimately, because of what's going on in the country, though, you start to get surreal or feel sorry about it, but then you're grateful just to be able to have a job because I know how hard it is on people. Yeah,
no doubt. One real quick follow-up. You got the green flag from the Big 12, I know, and I know your guys are locked in on an opponent in a game now that you've gotten that flag, but what just your general confidence level that this is really going to happen?
Why are you making me even think about that, Garen? I don't even, that's one of those, that's like, okay, you're right. No, I can't answer because I do, you just don't want to think about it. It's one of those things that's not in my control. I just coach defense, and that's not just
sure.
euphemism. I mean, it's like I can't do anything about that. So yeah, I mean, I think there's the players can get the game's far away and you're just going against your own offense all the time, and so my job is to really keep them motivated, and that they want to play, but it's a lot of practices and it's been a long time. So my job is just keep them fired up.
Yeah. All right. Good to see you, man. Appreciate it.
You too.
Our final question for Coach is going to come from Jason Elmquist of the Stillwater News Press. Go ahead, Jason.
Hey, Coach. Thanks for taking your time.
No problem. Thanks, Jason.
Obviously, the biggest gap you guys have to fill from last year is the loss of A.J. Green. So far, who are some of the guys that you've seen starting to step up to possibly fill that role in their cornerback?
So we moved Jarek Bernard from the nickel strike position, and he's a veteran. He's played as many games He's played as many games at Oklahoma State as I have, right? Because he started for 2 years. And then Christian Holmes, our transfer, is excellent and has great focus. Both those guys are quality players, quality individuals, football guys. We're going to be fine. I mean, I'm thrilled with the way the corner. You're right, because AJ's a significant loss. Yet to be able to replace him with a guy who has 2 years worth of starts, and bring in a transfer who's everything you would ever want in a kid in terms of his ability and his focus and his wanting to be a part of the team. I feel great about the position.
Well, and obviously last year you had some younger guys who got some action at the cornerback position and had some success here and there. But how much did them not getting to work out in the spring maybe kind of stunt their growth, do you think?
Yeah, I think it's hard for guys who haven't played that much. The lack of spring, so that's why I think having veterans and guys who really played is going to be important this year.
Thanks, Coach.
Coach, we actually do have one last question. It's going to come to us here from Robert Allen. Go ahead, Robert.
Yeah, you got me. Coach, I wanted to ask you about the physical improvement and the way Trace Ford apparently bought into the weight room, whether it was during the pandemic or when he was on campus.
Stud. I mean, yeah, you're exactly right. The kid is a physical specimen with unbelievable short space quickness and a great first step. And I think he's a real, All-American prospect. I mean, he's got a bright future, and he's bigger and stronger, and he's starting to get a little mean out here. He's played a lot now, so he's starting to get a little mean on the field and having an attitude, a competitive attitude. So sky's the limit for him.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, Coach, thank you so much for hanging out with us a little bit here today and spending some time. We appreciate you. Hey, Cam, how are you doing?
Well, pretty good.
Good. Thanks so much for waiting for us here a little bit, and we appreciate you taking the time. Go ahead and open right up to questions. So your first question is going to come from Cody Nagel. Cody's from Go Pokes. Go ahead, Cody.
Hey, Cam, people kind of talk about, the potential that the offense has with, Chuba and Tylen. Does that motivate you guys to have more of an impact this season?
I feel like it do because as a unit, this whole, fall camp, we've been kind of locked in with a different type of swagger, different type of mindset going in because, a lot of times the offense do get more credit when it comes to those type of things. But the defense this year, I feel like it's going to be really good. And as a unit, I feel like this camp is really showing like how good we can be in the future.
All right, thank you.
Our next question comes from Myron Patton from Fox 25. Go ahead, Myron. Myron, I believe you might be on mute. All right, we're going to move on. Next question is going to come from Frank Bonner of the Tulsa World. Go ahead, Frank.
Hey, Cameron. On the defense, you guys got a lot of guys coming back. How beneficial is it to know that you guys will also be getting Calvin Bundage back coming off his injury?
I think it's a real good bonus. Calvin, the year before got into an injury or whatever happened, and him getting back, just seeing him move around in fall camp is a great sight to see because you can just tell he's in shape now and moving around fluid, and just makes our defense better with him on it. And so just him being back, I like it, because Cal brings a different type of mentality to the defense, and it makes a big difference for us.
Is he another, veteran voice for some of your young guys on the field?
Oh, yes. Of course, Calvin, yes, he is, because, some guys look up to him because Calvin, he's always on go and ready to go. So with him, it's just, they see him doing that, and so they want to do it just like him. That's what a lot of the leaders on the defense, for us, me and guys like Amon and safeties like Kobe Peel, they always look up to them type of guys. They know them guys going to be ready to go every day. So
I appreciate you, Cam.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Frank. Just a heads up to everybody, Tyler Lacey actually had to leave for class. So if you have any defensive questions, this is the time to ask all of them. So our next question is going to come from Chris Becker of the O'Colly. Go ahead, Chris.
Hey, Cameron. You talked about the veteran presence on the defense. How have you guys had to step up during this pandemic to get these young guys, this big freshman class, bought into the team and help them even in this unforeseen circumstances with COVID-19?
I just feel like just staying on them, but not staying on them too much. Give them a little room, but let them know what's the goal and what we have for the season, and just coming out there and just showing them how we feel about practice. Not just showing them a presence of how we practice and leadership, and showing like that we want to be here and want to get better. So I think them seeing that allows them to get through the pandemic and COVID, whatever's going on, and just look at the older guys and see that they're doing really good and they're taking one day at a time. And that's my biggest thing, is just tell them just take one day at a time, and we're going to make our goals and get to where we want to be. We just got to stay together, and everybody got to be on the same page.
Right. And you talked about it earlier with depth of the defense. Can you speak to depth of the defensive line in particular and how that's helped this defense grow?
Oh, it's a big impact. Me personally, just being on the field a lot, just seeing more guys under me just doing just as good, because we all want each other to succeed, and just the depth makes it a whole lot easier. So me, I have to play as many snaps. I can get rest more. Like guys in the ones get rest more. Some guys, come in and get some experience. Younger guys, and And like I feel like we all on the same page. Like the younger guys are doing just as good as the older guys. So just everybody being on the same page and locking in, I feel like that makes a big difference for us, our defense and D-line.
Thank you, Cameron.
All right, our next question comes from Scott Wright of the Oklahoman. Go ahead, Scott.
Hey, Cameron. Coach Knowles was talking about Trace Ford and what his development has looked like. Could you speak to what you've seen from Trace early in camp?
Oh, he's been doing really good. Trace is like a jackrabbit. He's always over the field. He's always moving around and doing, he's doing stuff that, he needs to do. And, he's a good player. Like, overall, I really like Trace and his mentality. He brings a good presence to our defense. He has a lot of speed, a lot of talent, and he's going to be very successful one day. And I like him on the team. So he makes a big difference for the D-line.
Thanks, bud.
Yeah.
Our next question comes from Robert Allen of Triple Play Sports. Robert, I think you're on mute.
Cam, you're wearing an old piece of equipment there. I think they call that a cowboy collar. I'm going to ask you a throwback question. You're from Arkansas. Going into the College Football Hall of Fame this year is Leslie O'Neal. And the last time Oklahoma State was really dominant defensively, Leslie O'Neal was playing at defensive tackle. How much do you know, or have you ever heard of Leslie O'Neal?
I see his pictures in the weight room, but I've never really done just research on him. One guy I do know, I think went here, was Kevin. He was from somewhere.
Kevin Williams?
Right. Yeah, Kevin Williams from a small town in Arkansas. And Coach G. Rich always tell me about him. So that's more like Arkansas ties I really know anything about. But
all right, let me ask you a up-to-date question. Sometimes as an inside tech defensive lineman, you got to give yourself up. You got to take on those blockers and open it up for the linebackers. How exciting is it for you to know what you've got behind you with that linebacker core?
It makes it easier for me because of, just when I'm taking on double teams, taking on double teams, I know they're going to plug a gap and they're going to make the play if they double teaming me. And it just gives me a little release that I know I have Amen and Malcolm and a bunch of other guys, Devin Harper, Calvin Bundage, a bunch of other linebackers behind me that I know is going to make plays or make me right if I mess up. And it's just knowing that behind me allows me to play fast and as well as them because they know I'm going to do my job. So just seeing them behind me makes a big difference.
Thank you, Cam.
Sure.
All right, Cam, our last question is going to come from Jason Elmquist of the Stillwater News Press. Go ahead, Jason.
Hey, Cam, thanks for taking the time. Obviously, classes started this week. This town of Stillwater is almost doubled in size. What's been the biggest adjustment for you guys from basically kind of going from that bubble that you've had during the summer to now having to be a little more conscious about whether you're on campus or going to restaurants or getting groceries and stuff like that?
I just feel like it all goes back to accountability and just focus on what our goal is. And our goal is to play the season and get to where we want to be. So by being accountable and your actions and stuff like that, you may not have to go to a party. You may have to just miss stuff. Like some stuff that you really want to do, you just can't do it, anymore because, they don't really take it as serious as we do because, all they care about is just living a life and living fun, which is nothing wrong with that. It's just the fact that we have a goal in mind and we want to play football, and we can't play football if guys are, going out partying and doing stuff that we shouldn't do. There's nothing wrong with doing that, but we just shouldn't right now. It's not the time. And I just feel like it all comes back to the word accountability, just being accountable for yourself and just being accountable for your teammates because we're a team. So that's my input on it.
Do you feel that you or who in the defensive side is making sure that the guys, at least within that you guys can control within the program, are keeping themselves accountable?
Just leaders, just the leaders, D-line. I'm one of the leaders on the D-line and just Amen. One linebacker, Kobe Field, and just them guys, they put it in guys' ear, just let them know, hey, you shouldn't be doing that. We have a goal in mind where we want to go. So just some guys, we're not really just forcing it on guys, but we letting them know, how we feel about it. And, they shouldn't be doing that type of stuff if you're trying to play football. So just me and them taking accountability, I think everybody just on the same page. Just like I said, I just think a lot of people are really trying to play ball. So going to the strip or going to somewhere in Stillwater might not be the best right now. So
appreciate it.